For this project, you're going to need pink yarn, or if you're doing a boy favor, you can do the blue yarn, but for this one I'm doing it for a girl, so I'm using the pink yarn. And also you're going to need hot pink yarn, and I'm using the Carriage Simply Soft yarn. And also you'll need some white yarn, and this is the soft, baby soft Bernat yarn. You're going to need a large N or 9mm crochet hook, also a J 6mm crochet hook, tapestry needle, scissors, some ribbon. I like to use the same matching hot pink ribbon, but you can use a light pink ribbon as well, or white. And you're going to need some beads. I like to use these large plastic pearl-like beads. And you're also going to need some thread, white thread, and a needle for sewing. And we'll go ahead and get started. So go ahead and get your main color, and in this case I'm doing the pink. And you're going to take your large and 9mm hook. And we're going to do a magic circle. First, just drape the yarn across your hand, 4 fingers. Then take the thumb to help stabilize it and loop it around. Keep your 2 middle fingers spread apart a little bit and loop it around twice. Kind of inch it along. Take the loose tail and hold it between your pinky and your thumb. And you're going to hold the yarn just like this, with your index finger holding the rest of the yarn. Take your hook and then go under the 2 loops, yarn over, go back under the 2 loops, yarn over, turn your hook upside down, and come through the loop. That's going to be your knot. Now we're going to do the first treble crochet into the magic circle. And to do that, you're going to go under the 2 loops, yarn over, pull up, and that's 1. And to help stabilize it, what you can do is let go with your pinky and your thumb, and take your middle finger and your thumb and hold it right below the hook. So you're holding the yarn like this. Taking yarn over, and you have 2 single chains. Inch your middle finger and thumb up, yarn over, 3 single chains, and 4 single chains. Then take your middle finger, 2 middle fingers back into the loop, and that's your first treble crochet. We're going to do 22 treble crochets into the magic circle. So now we're going to fold it again with your thumb and middle finger, yarn over, take your 2 middle fingers back into the circle, go into the loop, yarn over, and pull up. Actually, I'm going to redo that one. So you're holding it like this. Index finger has the yarn, 2 middle fingers into the loop. You're going to yarn over twice. We're doing a treble crochet. Then take out your middle finger and your thumb and hold it. Go under. Now you have 4 loops onto the hook, and you're holding it with your middle and thumb below the hook like this. You're going to yarn over, and then you're going to pull through 2 loops on the hook. Now you have 3 loops on the hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through the next 2, and you're going to yarn over and pull through the next 2. So now you have 2 treble crochets on your magic circle. Now you're going to take with your thumb and your middle finger, whatever way you can hold the loop best, to keep the loop open as we're doing our work. So you're going to yarn over, go into the loop, yarn over. Oh, actually, we're doing a treble crochet, so you're going to want to do 2 yarn overs before you go into the loop. So yarn over, and go into the loop. So now you have 4 on the hook. Now you're going to yarn over and then hold it to stabilize it. Go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, and go through 2. And then what's nice about the magic circle is you can move your work over, slide it over onto your loops. Take your finger back in there so you have 3 treble crochets, and you can see how I'm holding the yarn to make the work easier. Yarn over twice, go into the loop, 2 loops, yarn over and pull up, and then hold it with your middle finger and your thumb. And then yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over and pull through the last 2. So now you have 4 treble crochets into the magic circle. So then we're going to yarn over twice again, go into the loop, 2 loops, yarn over. You have the 4 loops on the hook, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, and go through 2. So now we have 5, and you can move them over. And that's what's so nice about the magic circle. Now I'm going to do one more slow one for you, and then you're going to complete 22 double crochets into the magic circle and then come back. So we're going to yarn over twice, go into the 2 loops, yarn over, and you have 4 on the hook, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2 more, and then yarn over and go through the last 2. So here we have 6 treble crochets into the magic circle loop. So go ahead and finish your 22 treble crochets into the magic circle and come back and I'll show you the next step. Alright, so you should have finished 22 treble crochets into the magic circle, and your work should look like this. Now we're going to close up the magic circle. Go ahead and turn over the work. Actually, go ahead and hold the work like this, leaving the hook in place, and take, you can see the 2 loops right here on the opposite end of the circle. You're going to pull on one of them. And if you pull on it and it doesn't do anything, then go ahead and let go and pull on the other one. And that one's closing. So go ahead and close up the magic circle, and then pull, let go, and pull on the loose strand. And your work should close up nicely like this. So now you want to keep this little gap right here for the carriage. So we're going to finish off the work, and how you do that is take your hook, yarn over, turn the hook upside down and pull through, and then just keep pulling through, just enough to sew the end into your work. And then take and just pull it tight, and then turn it over and go ahead and try to pull on that loose end to close up the center of the magic circle nicely. And actually, go ahead and put your large hook through the center, because we're going to pull through the ribbon. Actually, we'll use the J hook to fit a little bit better. And we're going to pull out the piece of the ribbon that will go through the center. You just need a small enough sized ribbon to tie your bow. So I have about this size ribbon. Go ahead and take your hook, grab the ribbon, and pull through. that. Leave one end on the other side halfway, and that way you can tie your ribbon. And I'm going to pull on that loose strand. And then take and tie the ribbon into a bow. Kind of shape it how you want it onto the carriage, and we'll get it shaped a little bit better when we sew the pearl onto there. But we also want to have the hot pink going around the carriage, so go ahead and get your hot pink yarn. And then take your J hook, the smaller hook, go into the top portion of your carriage where you finished off. Then bring the hot pink color in. Do one single chain. Actually, make sure you grab the right colored yarn. Do one single chain, and then turn your work over, and you're going to tie a knot. And just pull the yarn closely around the hook. Finish tying your knot. Do one more. So we're going to want to do another single chain. So now we're going to do a single chain, yarn over and bring through, and you have one single chain. You're going to turn your work over. And we're going to do two single chains into the next stitch, and we're also going to bury our yarn ends as we do that. So go into the next stitch, yarn over. You have two loops on the hook, yarn over and go through both loops with your hook. Then yarn over, and then you're going to go into the same stitch, yarn over, come up. You have two loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through both loops. So you had one single chain in the beginning stitch and then two single chains in the next stitch over. Now in the next stitch you're just going to do one single chain. And then in the next stitch you're going to do two single chains, and that's the pattern you're going to do all the way around. So one single chain and then two single chains into the next stitch. Go into the next stitch, yarn over, one, two, and then in the next stitch you're going to do one single chain, and then the next stitch you're going to do two single chains. You're going to do that all the way up to the last stitch here. Don't go into the ribbon. You want to stop on the last top of the treble crochet, and then come back and I'll show you the next step. Okay, so you should have finished with a single chain into the last top portion of the treble crochet. Now we're going to finish off, so go ahead and yarn over and just pull through enough to leave a tail where you can bury that into your work. And if it looks like your carriage is starting to close up on you, that's okay, because once we put the wheels on, it'll stay like it should. So this is how your work should look right now, and also we're going to fix our ribbon so it can stay the right way also. When we sew it on, that will stay on there like that. Okay, so next we're going to sew our pearl onto the ribbon right here. So go ahead and get your pearl, and then also go ahead and get your thread, your white thread, and the needle that you're going to use to sew the thread on, and then come back and we'll sew the pearl on. Okay, so you should have your needle and white thread, and as you can see, the pearl, the little plastic pearl, fits easily on the needle that you're using to thread to sew onto your work. And you're just going to take and sew it right into the center of your work right there. And then once you sew that into the center of the work, as you're sewing it, make sure to shape the bow so that it stays straight onto your work. Pearl. So an easy way to do this is to leave your pearl down and then come up through the work. Shape your bow, hold it how you want it. And then come up through the back of the work with your needle and come up towards the center of your bow. And you can see where my needle is coming out of the work. And before you bring your needle all the way through, go ahead and take your pearl and set it onto the work like that. And then finish bringing the thread and needle through. And then go ahead and keep pulling the thread until you leave a little bit of length behind your work so you can tie a knot. And then just bring your pearl down. Then what you're going to do is take the bow and center it on the other side, and then you're going to go onto the opposite side right there of the bow. And pulls your pearl onto the bow. Now go ahead and turn your work over and take both ends. Then move your yarn out of the way. But take both ends of the thread that you just sewed through and pull it tight so your pearl is on your work nicely, just like that. And then once you pull it tight, go ahead and tie a knot onto the back. Pull it tight. And I like to do this 3 times just to make sure it's nice and secure. Now go ahead and finish sewing your bow into place, and also go through the pearl a couple more times, and when you're done sewing the pearl in place, come back and then I'll show you how to do the wheels. Okay, so your work should look like this when you're done. The bow is staying nicely in the center and you have your pearl right in the middle. Now I'm going to show you how to make the wheels. You can set that aside. Go ahead and get the same color that you started with, the base of your carriage, and we're going to do a magic circle again. And this time you're going to use the J hook, or 6mm hook. So go ahead and drape the yarn across the 4 fingers, grab it with your thumb, and then loosely put it around the 2 middle fingers, and then hold it with your pinky and your thumb. And then take your J hook, go under both of the center 2 loops, yarn over and pull through, and then we're going to do a knot. So yarn over, pull through, and that's your first knot. So now we're going to do 12 double crochets into the center of your magic circle. So go ahead and go under the 2 loops, yarn over, pull up, yarn over, and pull through the 2 for your first single chain. Now we're going to go ahead and take your middle finger and thumb and hold it right at the base of the hook, and you're going to do yarn over and pull through for your second single chain, yarn over, pull through for your third, and you can inch up with your middle finger and thumb towards the base of the hook to help stabilize it, but you have 3 single chains for your first double crochet. So then you can put your fingers back into the loop, and then you can yarn over and then go through the loop, yarn over and pull up, and you have 3 loops on your hook. So then to stabilize it, you can go and hold it again with your middle finger and thumb at the base of the hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and now you have 2 double crochets onto the magic circle. So we're going to do another one, go under both loops, yarn over, actually do that again. You're actually going to yarn over first, then go into the 2 loops, yarn over and pull up for the 3, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2, and you have your third double crochet onto your magic circle. So again, you're going to yarn over, go through the loops on your fingers, pull up, and you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. So now we have 4 double crochets on your magic circle. I'm going to do one more slow one with you, then I'll do a fast one, yarn over, go through both loops, yarn over, and I'm going to do a fast one. Okay, and you can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochets on the hook. So do 6 more of the same and then come back, and then I'll show you how to finish up the wheel. Okay, so this is how your work should be looking. You have the 12 double crochets onto your magic circle. So now go ahead and take with your middle finger and your thumb, grip the bottom of your work like this, and then you have these 2 loops here on the opposite side. We're going to pull on one of them, and like I said, if it doesn't close, then let go and grab the other loop, but this one's moving, so we'll go ahead and keep pulling on that one, and then take the loose tail and pull on that to finish closing the magic circle. And as you can see, it's closing nicely. Now you're going to do a slip stitch. So take the top of the initial double chain. So now you have the top of the initial double chain, and you're also the loop on your hook. You're going to yarn over. You're going to pull through both loops on the hook, and you have your wheel. But we also want to do a white color around the wheel. So to change colors, what you're going to do is go into the next stitch, yarn over and pull up, so you have 2 loops on your hook, and we're going to join the white yarn. So go ahead and grab your white yarn, take and hold the yarn like this to draw it through both loops, and you're going to do, with the white yarn, you're going to do a single chain. So yarn over, pull through, and then you're going to turn your work over, and you're going to go ahead and cut the pink yarn, which is what you used to do the center of your wheel. You want to keep your white yarn to do the rim of the wheel. Go ahead and tie a knot into the back of your work. And just tie one more. So now you're going to do a single chain into the same stitch, and you want to keep the ends that you just tied a knot to the side because we're going to bury those as we're working. So go ahead and do a single chain in the same stitch. And then in the next stitch over, you're going to do 2 single chains. And as you can see, we're burying the work as we go. And yarn over and pull through 2. Now in the next stitch, we're going to do 2 single chains in the same stitch. So go back, go into the same stitch, do a single chain. So you have 1 single chain initial stitch and then 2 single chains in the next stitch. Now we're going to do 1 single chain in the next stitch. And we're going to do 2 single chains into the next stitch. And now we can go ahead and cut the 2 loose strands that we were burying in our work. Be careful you don't cut your other parts of your work and just cut the loose strands. So we just finished the 2 single chains in one stitch, so now we're going to do the 1 single chain in the next stitch. And you're going to repeat that pattern all the way back to the beginning of 1 single chain and then 2 single chains in the next stitch. And come back and I'll show you the next part of the project. Okay, so you should have finished 1 single chain and then 2 single chains in the next stitch and finish that all the way around your wheel. Now we're going to slip stitch into the beginning stitch. So you take your hook and go into the initial stitch, yarn over, and pull through both loops on the hook for a slip stitch. Now we're going to finish off. Go ahead and yarn over and pull through and pull enough yarn to sew your wheel onto your carriage. And then on the back, you're going to take your initial strand of yarn and bury it into the work. So take your tapestry needle, put the yarn onto your tapestry needle, and then take your needle and go through and bury the yarn into your work. Go ahead and cut the end, and you have your wheel ready to be sewn onto the carriage. So with the carriage, we'll go ahead and bury the yarn on the back of the carriage as well. Take your tapestry needle, and then just bury that into the work, and then cut that loose end, and go ahead and take the other loose end on the carriage and bury that as well. And see how I'm just burying it into the back. This just helps keep your work so it doesn't fall apart and stays nice. Okay, so now for your carriage, what you want to do is kind of fold the work a little bit right there. This is going to go underneath the wheel. It's going to look like this. We're going to sew that on to the work. Go ahead and get your tapestry needle. Go ahead and position the wheel how you want want it to look on your carriage. I'll put mine down. And you want to make sure to fold over a little bit to keep this portion of your work straight. And then go ahead and sew the wheel onto your carriage. And you want to go underneath the white portion of the yarn. And you want to follow across the center here. And be careful you don't make too big of stitches on the front because you don't want it to show through. You can also use a pink to sew if you want to, and just hide the white portion under the wheel, and then just use a pink yarn to sew on your wheel, whatever you prefer. But you can't really see, if you sew it this way, you don't really see the white portion on your project. And just keep sewing it around until it's nice and secure on your carriage. And then take the project and turn it over, and then you're going to tie a knot by going underneath the portion of what you had folded over initially. Go into the loop to tie a knot. Do that a couple times. And then bury your work. Bury the thread and then cut it off. So you have your first wheel sewn on. Now go ahead and work on your second wheel, and then I'll show you how to sew that one on. Okay, so you should have finished your other wheel. I'm going to go ahead and sew that onto the carriage. So go ahead and position where you want your wheel. It should line up with your other wheel on the carriage. For this one, line it up about right there. Go ahead and sew that on. Go ahead and get your tapestry needle. And once you have your yarn on your tapestry needle, go ahead and hold down the wheel. Make sure you line it up evenly. And then sew it along the bottom of the white portion of the wheel. And then just go across. Keep sewing it onto the carriage. Now instead of going around, you want to go across the center here. Just go back towards the beginning where you started. And turn your work over to tie a knot on the back. I'm just going to go under some of the carriage. You can tie a knot. Don't pull too tightly. And then go through again. And then you want to bury the work like that. and then you cut your loose end. And you have your carriage. These can make great party favors, and I'm going to use this one to hang on the gift package that I'm doing for the prizes at the baby shower.